In the news this week, more than 150 cars caught by speed camera in 15 minutes on the Kwinana freeway just before Christmas. A WAMN News exclusive.
Roger Cook moved on from the health portfolio following an anticipated cabinet reshuffle, confronting arrest of a woman caught on camera following an alleged fast food rampage. Plus, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loon and Sarah Smith.
Good evening. The Mark McGowan government's being called on to educate drivers after more than 150 motorists were caught speeding in 15 minutes. The opposition has called it concerning but warns people need to be more cautious on the roads, especially during Christmas holidays. We'll begin with Nelson Liu's exclusive report.
Flash after flash after flash. One by one, our cameras capturing unsuspecting drivers caught by a fixed speed camera on the smart freeway stretch of Kwinana Freeway. WAMN News filmed cars passing the camera one evening this week to get an idea of just how many were speeding late at night. And for the 15 minutes we were there, the results were staggering. In a section changing from 80 km an hour to 60 because of roadworks, 197 cars were caught between 10:25 p.m. and 10:40 p.m, with two quick flashes from the front and back of the speed camera. No speeding drivers were spared, a Trans-Perth bus appearing to be among them. The state opposition has called the number caught a worry.
That does concern me that people are not aware, and I don't know just whether they're slowing down and not slowed down enough when they get caught, or if they're just not aware that the speed limit has actually changed at that point.
The freeway cameras have been set up in a $1 million year-long trial to nab drivers trying to fly under WA Police's radar. Starting in September, it's been used to stop people speeding or driving in closed lanes while monitoring compliance with changing speed limits. For now, those caught will be sent a warning letter, but later fines haven't been ruled out. The opposition rejects claims the cameras are about revenue raising, but wants more education for drivers.
More education about the fact that they've got to do that, change their speed according to what the signs say, and making sure that people understand that there's a very real prospect that they might be fined.
The government has stressed no fines have been issued.
It's a matter of education. That's why they're not penalising people at the moment. But people should be aware that this technology is there at some point. Once we expect people are familiar with the system and that how it works and the obligations that they have, we could easily enforce penalties as a consequence of these breaches. I just urge everyone, pay attention. Look at those signs and respond to them. When they're there for a reason, they're warning people that there might be a hazard ahead, and it's for your own safety and the safety of others that you should obey those speed limits. We're working on a trial of point-to-point speed cameras, which will be mobile, unlike the ones that are on the Forest Highway, which are fixed. They will initially not incur penalties, but they will demonstrate the capacity, and obviously over time we may then employ them.
It's announced WA's Shadows of Summer Road Safety campaign, reminding road users to drive to speed limits. And with the Christmas holidays next weekend, double demerits are back from Christmas Eve, ending on January 9 next year. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
Mark McGowan has removed Roger Cook from the health portfolio after weeks of speculation leading up to this week's cabinet reshuffle. Newly minted Minister Amber Jade Sanderson will take on the challenge of the health and mental health portfolios as Western Australia prepares to reopen its borders in February. Steve Anderson reports.
For Roger Cook, the writing was on the wall for quite some time before the anticipated cabinet reshuffle. This week, the health portfolio has been handed over to a newcomer. Premier Mark McGowan made the announcement following weeks of speculation from the media as WA prepares to drop its borders in February.
It's been an extraordinary achievement that Roger Cook has a lot of responsibility and can take a lot of pride in achieving over the course of the last 2 years.
Roger Cook will continue to be Deputy Premier and gained the Tourism and Commerce portfolio, while rising stalwart Minister Amber Jade Sanderson took on health and mental health. There have been no changes to Mr McGowan's Treasurer role. Rita Safiotti on Transport and Planning, Sue Ellery will continue on Education and Training, John Quigley as Attorney General. Emergency Services goes to Stephen Dawson, while Climate Action and Environment goes to Rhys Whitby. The Premier rejected suggestions that Mr Cook had been demoted, praising his ability of handling COVID-19 during a difficult period. For Amber Jade Sanderson, on the other hand, her challenge will be immense as she takes on the health portfolio just before WA enters into the uncertainty of border transition. Steve Anderson, WAMN News.
A dramatic arrest caught on camera confronting footage taken by WAMN News shows a woman being taken into police custody after terrorising staff and customers at a Spearwood McDonald's this week.
Reporter Maleva Thorne has the exclusive details. Melly, what can you tell us?
Yes, Ivan. WAMN News were on the scene when a confronting arrest occurred earlier this week. A woman was arrested for allegedly damaging property and obstructing police officers at a local fast food joint. Watch. On the 14th of December, at around 9:50 p.m, police were called to a McDonald's store in Spearwood. The woman involved faces 4 charges in total: stealing, criminal damage or destruction of property, obstructing police officers and disorderly behaviour in public. She allegedly damaged a cash register, EFTPOS machine and donation box and was acting in a disorderly manner. In January 2022, the woman will appear in Fremantle Magistrates Court. Back to you, Ivan and Sarah.
Thanks, Melly. The Nurses Union WA boss says nurse shortages are the worst the state has seen in 40 years, with poor conditions and resignations continuing to impact staff and services. WA Nursing Federation Secretary Mark Olsen said the state is still 500 to 700 nurses short, with heavy workloads and burned out seeing 1,800 nurses leaving the profession in recent months. Mr. Olsen says recruiting hasn't improved in a year, but interstate recruitments won't fix the problem.
That's where we were last October when nurses started raising these concerns, and they have been raising these concerns. And so I'm not surprised by the revelations today because our members, nurses and midwives across Western Australia, have been giving me that message since October 2020.
Police have released the names of the 5 children killed in a bouncy castle tragedy at Devonport Primary School in Tasmania. The names were released with permission from the victims' families. 11-year-old Addison Stewart, 12-year-old Zane Mellor, 12-year-old Jai Sheehan, 12-year-old Jalalia Jane Marie Jones and 12-year-old Peter Dott were killed when a bouncy castle was blown 10 metres into the air at a school fun day. The force said their thoughts are with the victims' families, their loved ones and everyone affected by the tragedy.
WA's multicultural house, home to Perth's 2 major ethnic organisations, was officially renamed this week, paying tribute to 2 community leaders. The Argos Raymond House was named, highlighting 2 leading activists' major contributions to Ethnic Communities Councils WA and Multicultural Services Centre. Family members and CALD leaders participated in the ceremony this week, with Multicultural Minister Tony Booty marked the official opening of the building.
And the idea was that we wanted to really say to the families of both Russell Raymond and Nick Argosh that we as a community, the Ethnic Communities Council, the Multicultural Services Centre, really valued the amount of work that their fathers, husbands put into this place. And we really wanted to demonstrate that that was a real commitment to honour their memory. And so hence we decided to go with that.
A Westminster man has appeared in court after allegedly firing flares at police during a dramatic car chase in Perth's northern suburbs. Firefighters were called to extinguish a scrub fire caused when the flares were released while the driver was fleeing on Marangaroo Drive. Police helicopters were used to search for the man after he dumped the vehicle in Moore River. He was arrested at a semi-rural property in Barrangoon Road in Caravan, and the submerged car was recovered on Thursday. The 28-year-old has been charged with numerous offences, including stealing, reckless driving to escape pursuit, and no authority to drive. He appeared in the Joondalup Magistrates Court this week.
As Christmas is approaching in less than a week, a couple in Perth's northern suburbs is spreading the true meaning of this festive season. Joanne Grosser has been handing out Bible story booklets in the past several days leading up to Christmas. She says it's important to remind the community about the roots of Christmas and pass this spirit on to the next generation.
A shop stand in our shopping centre, and I presented it to the people who know me now because I go to those shops, and they received it willingly. God sent Jesus Christ as his son to the earth for a very specific reason, to put people back into relationship with God. So to me, really, it's not Christmas that's the important part. It is what he did in his life and his death on the cross.
So, what does Christmas mean to you, Sarah?
Look, for me, it's all about spending time with friends and family, remembering the birth of Jesus, and eating so much glazed ham I almost explode. But Ivan, are you going to take a break? You work much too hard.
No.
Why not?
I have so many priorities that I had to do during the Christmas. You know, obviously got to caught up with my family as well, which is on the other side of the globe. I don't have, quite frankly, I don't have anyone to spend Christmas with when it comes to family members. That is true. That is true. But having said that, I'm going to give them a visual call. But most of the Christmas sentiments, I do share it with you. So that's right. We all have to remember the birth of Jesus. That's very important indeed.
Yeah, and you can jump on Zoom with your mum and dad.
That's right. Recap this week's top stories again in just a moment.
But right now, here's Nelson with Western Perspective.
Thanks, Ivan and Sarah. Hello and welcome to WP. Well, it's been another challenging year of COVID-19 with the ever-changing and fast-evolving situations that we needed to adapt to. Multicultural communities here in WA have also played a vital role, participating in the challenges that we've faced, and have done well in the process. As the year draws to a close, we ask how has the McGowan government succeeded in helping ethnic communities and what can still be achieved next year. Multicultural Minister Tony Booty joined us earlier.
Well, obviously, coming from an immigrant background myself of Italian heritage, I recognise and understand the importance that the multicultural community makes to the fabric of Australian society. We're really lucky in this state that we are made up of such a diverse array of culturally and linguistically diverse groups. So, as the Minister for Multicultural Interests, I've made it really an important part of my task to get to as many groups as possible and to listen to their concerns and try and support them where I can.
A bit about the successes and maybe the failures of your government in regards to the multicultural community this year?
Well, I think this year's been a really important year because obviously we're still dealing with the COVID situation, and I think actually it's been a real success story of how the various multicultural groups have been able to ensure that their communities are following the health orders and health directions that are implemented by the Chief Health Officer and the McGowan government. So I think we've been working really, really closely together very well, and of course we also, the WA government gave a $2 million grant to the Indian government, also to the Indonesian government quite recently, because of course they've had major issues with COVID outbreaks.
What words would you say, if you could say anything, to the multicultural community in Western Australia?
My main thing is two things. Thank you very, very much for what you have done to try and keep our community safe through this very challenging time. And secondly, thank you for encouraging your communities to be vaccinated, and please keep encouraging those that have not been vaccinated yet.
Please just tell me a little bit about your government's plans in regards to the multicultural community in 2022.
Well, once again, we'll still be on that message of ensuring that various communities remain safe and that they also deal with issues that will resolve when we open the borders, and also obviously trying to ensure that all the government agencies follow the multicultural framework that has been implemented by this government.
And now, here's AMA WA spokesperson Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly COVID-19 update and commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. It's obviously very critical moments right now for the Health Department in Western Australia, and seeing a change of Health Minister gives us an opportunity to not only improve our COVID response, but to try and address some of the other issues that really do need a circuit breaker. We've been saying for some time that it would be good to have a fresh set of eyes on health, and Minister Sanderson is certainly someone who has the respect of myself and many other medical professionals around the state who dealt with it in the voluntary assisted dying implementation, and she'll be a very capable minister. What do we need to do? Well, for now we need to keep Omicron out of this state. That's certainly true. Unfortunately, New South Wales is in for a terrible period over the next few weeks, and we can only hope that they will do the simple things like bring in masks and try and reduce big crowds, because they're simply not going to be able to cope with the amount of disease that they're going to see. Given that having only 2 doses of the vaccine is not enough, we need to have 3 doses in, and we certainly need to get our primary school kids vaccinated as soon as possible. This thing is now spreading as fast or nearly as fast as measles through the air, and we don't need to panic, but we need to do the things that we know work. So hopefully the Minister will hit the ground running and making sure that the community understands that in WA, and that they also prepare the health system better than it is now for the control of airborne spread of such a difficult to control disease. Vaccination alone doesn't do it. We do need the ventilation, the masks, and to keep it out, and to also, unfortunately, keep border control and lockdowns and quarantine and isolation, things as options on the table for if the disease starts to get out of control. This talk that you can give up on all that stuff leads to the kind of misery we're seeing in the Netherlands, where they're heading back into lockdown. So all the best to the new minister. Thanks to the previous minister. Obviously, we didn't get on over some issues, but that's all water under the bridge now. Let's just be positive moving forward with optimism that healthcare workers will be treated very well, nurses will get better patient ratios, doctors should be getting permanent contracts so they don't get poached by the rest of the country that offers people ongoing jobs. And just listen to the doctors and nurses who work with patients, give them what they need, and the rest of the system will look after itself. Thanks very much for your time.
That was Dr. Andrew Miller, and that's WP for this week. We'll be back again next time, but for now, it's back to you, Ivan and Sarah.
Thanks, Nelson. And here's Leo with what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks, guys. Today on 6 News, breaking news, new details coming to light about what led up to that horrible Devonport jumping castle tragedy. A non-stop stream of flowers, teddies and cards continuing to be seen outside Hillcrest Primary School, but still we're seeing misinformation about what happened spreading online. Plus, New South Wales daily cases surpassed Victoria's for the first time in months. The PM reminding Aussies that infection numbers are no longer a key metric, coming as Queensland authorities reintroduce a mask mandate for indoor settings. And US President Joe Biden warning of a winter of death for the unvaccinated, with the Omicron variant here now and spreading as virus deaths in America surpass 800,000. You can see full details on those stories and plenty more by heading to our YouTube channel. Just search 6 News AU to find us, or go to our website 6newsau.com. For now though, guys, it's back to you.
Thanks, Leo. That's our weekly news and current affairs. We'll have the latest news anytime on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Don't forget to join us next week for our final news broadcast for 2021. Until then, from Sarah and myself, wish you good health and good night.
Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to get in the Christmas spirit.